Hello, everyone.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, Bex. Hello, Cynthia. Bex, where the hell are we? What are we doing? Whose show is this?
This is my show.
Okay, then you should do the intro then.
Oh, wait. I need to turn my camera on. This is my show. Hello, Steve. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, everybody.
What up?
Okay, welcome to another episode of Pillow Talk with Princess Bex. I am your host, the Pink Princess Bex, of course. And tonight, here with me again is Steve. Hi, Steve and Cynthia.
Hello.
How are my favorite people tonight?
Just capital. Doing just good. Just good enough.
Cynthia, how are you tonight?
I am marvelous. How are you?
I'm good. I'm great.
So what are we talking about tonight, Bex? Pillow Talk, your show, rolling it out. You look like you ready to step out on the town tonight. What are we talking about?
Oh, she hitting the town.
I had to compose myself. Like, I went to go take out the trash and I saw like the biggest Baltimore rat ever. Like, that shit was humongous. And it low-key scared me. Like, that shit was wild. But anyway, tonight we are talking about, well, tonight's topic originally was supposed to be about insecurities and jealousy, specifically in a relationship. But because this isn't just like one topic, there's definitely going to be like a part 2 to this.
Okay.
So we're going to get into jealousy first tonight.
Okay.
Hello, Rebuke TV. Greetings to you. How are you? Okay, so before we jump into the topic, I just want to say that I, your host, Princess Bex, will be 100% honest about this topic because I've been told by a certain gentleman that, you know, women aren't really honest about topics like these. So I just wanted to let that be known, get that out beforehand.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were talking about Cynthia. I was like, damn, Cynthia, why are you stunned on her like that?
No, I'm talking about you.
I mean, I do stick by my statement. I don't feel like, women are always necessarily their most honest when they're in a group regarding these subjects. Not that they can't be honest, just that they won't most of the time because they don't want to be judged, which I understand. I get that.
Whatever. Anyway. Okay, so jealousy. We're talking about jealousy. What is it? Why do we have these feelings of jealousy? Are men more jealous than women? And like, how do we combat these issues? And is jealousy sexy?
Okay, so I guess that for me, I think it depends on the person, right? And it depends on the thing. When I was a younger man, I used to think a woman being jealous was sexy. I'm like, I want one of those rah, where you going? Put your hands in my face type of women. And I used to think that type of stuff was sexy. And then once you really start to experience the insecurities, the the subtle threats, the who you with, what you doing, what your zodiac sign type of energy. Then it becomes less sexy. I think it became less and less sexy the older I got.
Okay. So let's define the topic first.
Okay.
So what is jealousy? Jealousy is a complex emotion that has feelings ranging from suspicion to rage to fear to humiliation. Also feelings of resentment against someone because that person, they may be successful and, they're like your rival or something. It's almost like you feel threatened. And the threat can either be real or it can be imaginary. Like it can be all in your head for real. I 1000% relate to like the rage element. Like when I get jealous, it's more me being angry than me being like suspicious or fearful or like humiliated or whatever. So, next question is like, why do people get jealous? According to Psychology Today, research has identified like many root causes of extreme jealousy, including low self esteem, feeling possessive of others, particularly like your romantic partners, and fear of abandonment as well is also a key motivator. What do you guys think?
Oh, go ahead, Susie.
Um, I could see. Well, what was the one right before abandonment? Because I wanted to say that and abandonment.
It was possessive, feeling possessive of others.
Possessive and abandonment. So I feel like, at least in my experience in life, those would be the two biggest signs I've seen or even felt personally from jealousy, I guess, what I'm trying to get to.
Okay, I could dig that. I could dig that. When I've experienced it, man, like being possessive and like the anger, and this is not a proud like some proud things to admit, man, but it's always been when I was feeling the person, and I had this thing in the beginning where I was like, I'm feeling them too much, right? And it was like an unhealthy, I'm into this person to the point where it went from just thinking about them to ruminating, and then that leads into the possessiveness, and then them not meeting an expectation of mine, which probably was not communicated, then turned into anger.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like how you should read my mind. You should know that I don't want to go out tonight. I just want to hang out with you, keep you all to myself.
That was the type of shit you was doing?
before, not now. Does that make sense? Can you want to relate to that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can relate to that. That makes sense. What do you think are some signs of jealousy? Like, are there signs that you like immediately like recognize and you're like, okay, I know what this shit is?
For myself, or when the other person's becoming jealous?
Both.
I can tell when another person that prior to obviously marriage, or even sometimes like my wife is not a naturally jealous woman, but I can tell if something is bothering her and making her feel less than secure. In past relationships, I could tell someone was becoming jealous based off of the way they were moving, especially if it's a woman. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a woman. If she says I'm fine, she ain't fine. She's not happy with you. She's not happy with you. Those are the traits I usually picked up on.
That's not always true.
It's always true. Categorically, it's categorically true. She says she's fine. She's, the relationship might already be over depending on how long y'all been together.
Okay. So, like, according to my research, like some of the main like signs of unhealthy jealous behaviors have been like checking your spouse's phone or email without their permission, insulting your spouse, assuming that they're not attracted to you, grilling them about their whereabouts throughout the day, and accusing them of lying without evidence. Can you guys relate to any of those?
100%. 100%. Oh, I'm not going into that, but I'll tell you this much. I've never gone through my wife's phone, right? But early in our relationship, I used to sneak peeks when she was texting. You know what I'm saying? Like I come over, give her a hug, and be like, "Oh, I love you." I'll give her a hug from the back, or I'm reading my comic book and I just kind of glance over and I'm like,
You were getting sneaky. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But wait, ask the question again, because I want to make sure I'm answering the question.
Like, can you relate to any of these behaviors, these jealous behaviors?
Yeah, man. For me personally, I don't know for anyone else, man. The maturity helped me grow out of this stuff, but I can relate because, like I said before, there have been times, even I think even early on with Mrs. Hold Up, because I was in so many other unhealthy relationships, it was weird to be in a normal one So when I would go out of town for work and stuff like that, I had to fight the urge to be like, yo, send me a picture of where you at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, I'm going out with my friends. Like, yeah, well, let me get a video cam shot. Let me see who's there right now. Pan around the whole room. Don't just show me you. I wanted to take the phone around. But then it started to dissipate, you know. The more I matured, the more I realized I could trust this person.
See, I think one big thing that you mentioned that both parties do, male and female, is the accusations without proof. And I get it, like you should have proof, but you know, speaking from a perspective of a relationship you've been in for a while, someone you've spent a lot of time around, you just know. Like I don't even know how to describe it. You just know when someone's doing some foul shit in the relationship. So you might not have the evidence, but you know, and it'll eventually come out. But unfortunately, by the time it does come out, you've already accused them. And so that first accusation is always what, like, a lot of times it ends up being the end of the relationship. But that's when you really see like the unhealthy part of the jealousy is usually that first accusation. But it's from a feeling, you know, like it's different if it was
Yeah, gut feeling.
you've been going out with for a month or something like that, and have low self-confidence or something, so you're always thinking she's trying to find or he's trying to find someone other than you. But if you've been in a while, you just know, because they do little things. Little things are different already at that point.
Okay, one thing that I really wanted to get into is, do you think men are more jealous than women? Or do you think women are more jealous? Like, who do you think is more jealous?
So, okay.
In the context of a romantic relationship.
Oh boy. So I mean, go ahead, Cincy. Something wrong with my camera and my mic. I'll be right back.
So I don't think one is more particularly jealous than the other. I just think they react differently, and because of the way the reactions are, I feel like men are the ones that get pointed out for being jealous easier or more frequently.
And
Because
why do you think this?
because excuse me, when men have a jealous reaction to something, it usually pushes the borderline of like super possessive, or even the angry trait you were talking about earlier, like a sign of jealousy. Whereas women's sign of jealousy is still there and maybe just as toxic or detrimental to the relationship, but it's more petty. And when you're petty, you're usually subtle, so it doesn't show publicly as much that you're having those same jealous emotions.
Okay, I get it. Steve, is your camera working?
It's still messed up. Nah, here I No, okay. So to answer the question, I couldn't concisely say that one is more jealous than the other, right? Because I would be answering with a blanket statement. From my experience, though, both sexes express it differently, right? So women will express their jealousy in a different manner, but when it comes about talking about the jealousy, they may not always be willing to vocally share that with the man that they're with. Where a man can't help but show that he's jealous by deed and, you know, words, deed, and action. Like, you're gonna notice when your guy's jealous, even if he thinks he's the most slick fool on earth, because he's gonna start behaving differently. He's gonna be a little bit tenser than he was before. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna manifest. I feel as if, though, sometimes women can be jealous and you won't even know. And I'm not trying to contradict myself, but like sometimes it'll catch you off guard. You're like, what? Hold on for a second. I thought we were eating lobster. I don't know this waitress. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sneaks up on you. So I think the approach is different. I think they can equally be in the same space of jealousy. You know what I'm saying?
That's absolutely true, because you could go like 4 weeks from the incident, and next thing you know, you do one thing and your girl come at you like, "Oh, that's what you was thinking about that bitch, huh?" Like a fucking 2 months later, pull that shit. Like, I don't even remember the incident.
What happened? I agree.
No comment.
What do you think, Bex?
I mean, I agree with you. I think there really isn't like who's jealous more type thing. I think it's just okay. So I did some digging, and according to my research, some evidence suggests that in the context of romantic relationships, men feel greater jealousy about like sexual infidelity.
Okay.
While women, they tend to feel more jealous about emotional infidelity.
So let's break that down. What's the emotional? I know what it means, but like when you're talking to people, when you're a male and you're talking to another woman, you're getting something that you know outside of your relationship. But why is the emotional infidelity worse for women?
You say, why is it what?
Why is it worse? Why does that impact women more?
I mean, it didn't really say that it was worse. It was just saying that, men and women feel it differently.
Okay.
But according to Psychology Today, romantic jealousy is widely understood to be different for men and women because, each gender has like a different level of investment in reproduction.
Okay.
They went to talk about like for a man to provide for like genetically distant children, that decreases his reproductive system. And because men are uncertain whether they are really the father of said children, they are more susceptible to be sexual, they're more susceptible to sexual infidelity. And then women, they know that they're the mother of the child, but they are more dependent on men for resources, making them more sensitive to emotional infidelity since it could threaten, the supply of resources